Good morning and welcome back to Special Project Sunday here on Gaming with ADHD. Sorry we're a few minutes late today. I mean, come on, it's me. Let's be honest, that's normal. We're used to that by now. But I do apologize. I just woke up. So, yes, I've done 6 days of work in a row and not slept well after any of them. Just in general, not because of work. So, anyhow. And Suddy already getting moderated out of chat again. Apparently, I'm not supposed to ever effing apologize to him. Even though I'm only like 2 years late on this statue. And no, Kevin, we are not playing Space Marine 2. I am a crazy man. That's why I do that. So, anyways, but for those of you that are new here, Kevin and Suddy are definitely not. We are working on a 12-inch-ish statue of Wrex from Mass Effect. I got him all primed up, and so we can start putting some paint on. Today is going to be very unexciting because I've already decided where I'm going to start. Now, you're also probably wondering why I'm holding it with a towel. That's because I can't use my standard miniature painting tools. And I don't want to get my oils all over this dude and mess it up. So we're gonna try holding him like this. We'll see how well it works. But yeah, Kevin, this is I think he's like 15. Yeah, he's around 15, not counting the base. Hey bear. And so, but I'm calling it a 12-inch statue just because I think for the others in the set, I think they're going to be around 12. Anyways, so yes, I realize I could wear gloves, but for a couple of hours sitting here, I sweaty hands and I'm not going to like it. So, good morning, Hungar. You are not chopped liver. You're like my best supporter monetarily on the channel. So, you are definitely not chopped liver. Anyhow, so yeah, that's what we're going to do today. We'll hang out, we'll chat, The sad thing is I don't have a whole lot of Mass Effect stories. I tried playing once and I didn't do well. This is the base. I primed it with the dude standing on it, as you can tell. Made it easier that way because it just kept him upright. So I'll have to go out and hit this with a little bit of primer once it cools down. But anyways, so we're just going to set that to the side. Move our water over. Anyhow, and actually, yeah, this will be good because then I can kind of use the towel to support it. All right, so I have a little bit of a gaming story to tell. I'm gonna do a separate video, but because I want to show off the pictures. We did a game of BattleTech last night. Me, my brother-in-law, my youngest son, and then 3 of my friends, and we played on. Hold on one second. We played a game of BattleTech last night, But we actually played on my table that my son built for me. And we used a bunch of terrain. Thank you. So we actually played, mech scale games, not map scale. So we had giant buildings all over the place. We had trees from the Alpha Strike box set. We had, it looked like say, like a 40K battlefield instead of BattleTech. And it was a lot of fun. The interesting thing is, by having terrain that was the same scale as the pieces, we actually like normally, like when you play on a BattleTech map, you can see where everyone is. It's not hard. It's a piece of paper and you have a miniature standing on it. And that is gonna be so awkward to paint. I think I need to get like a wide angle lens or something. But it was interesting because, like, at one point during the game, a friend of mine got shot, and he's like, wait a second, where did that come from? Because the miniature was hiding in some trees. And actually, it wasn't really hiding. Like in BattleTech, that's just where it is. It's in amongst the trees. But in this case, it literally was hiding. Like it was small enough that it was down below the trees. It was behind like a whole cluster of them, so that if your opponent is at the other end of a 6-foot table with with a 2-inch miniature behind some 2-inch trees, it essentially was hiding. So it really changed up the game, because out of sight, out of mind, basically. So it was kind of nuts. We're definitely looking forward to the next game. All right, I need a better brush than this. Anyhow, so yeah, that was my big game thing for the week. One of the cool parts, beyond just, getting together with the boys to play, So my brother-in-law lives out of state, but was in town, and it was for his wife's brother's second wedding that he didn't feel like participating in. So he just hung out with us for a few days. And I just said, hey, if you want to, here's a bunch of terrain that I want to use, and you could paint it. Again, if he wanted to. And he painted so much of it. And the worst part is he's so good that now I'm going to be intimidated to paint it. Because I'm not that good. All right, so if you're wondering what I'm doing, basically there's these panels that are essentially kind of black and silver, and they're also kind of the low point of the model. I think I used too much water there. Great. Yep, definitely used too much water. So I'm just coming in because it's also a low point, so I can just do it. I can be kind of sloppy. I'm going to come back and paint over all, well, not all of it, but like all the, so these armor panels over here. Yeah, I like that. I like that early on I can be a bit of a mess and not worry. Anyhow, wow, chat died. So, any other gaming exploits for the past week or weekend? My hair's a mess, which is why I'm wearing a hat. Apparently, my hat is in the way. And I'm doing my best to keep the actual model in frame, folks. I might actually have to buy another bottle of this black and silver again. That's the crazy thing about this particular set of paint. The bottles are so large and they've lasted now. I mean, most of them I don't use that much. You just need that color. Like this one I've been using, this dark silver from Monument Hobbies, I've been using a lot. And it's lasted 6 months. So, anyways, Monument Hobbies, folks. Large paint bottles. I do not understand how people who do this scale of painting, I mean, they probably have way more space than I do. Which just means I really need to get on this table upgrade that I've been talking about for months. Look, Peanut Gallery, you got dirt. I can get some 2x4s.
Turn the garage first.
Well, I never noticed that. That should be fine. It's in the back. It'll be okay. There's a crack essentially down here. It's not a structural issue. Just don't. Oh, crap. I am glad I wore older. Hold on, folks. I'll be right back. Sorry about that. Wardrobe change. Got paint on me, and let's just say it's a bit more complicated than I want to explain, so anyways. So I need somebody in chat who clearly is more versed in Mass Effect than I am. Explain to me the fascination of Mass Effect. And let's just leave it to Mass Effect 1. I've heard that 3 kind of kills the story. So I'm assuming 2 kind of leaves you on a cliffhanger, because 1 would have been made with the assumption that 2 wasn't going to happen. I know I tried playing Mass Effect, but it didn't click with me. But I have a feeling I'm quote unquote missing out on something. I think we even have the game. No takers? That's the weird thing. Like, I used to play a lot more video games, but I haven't been able to do so for a while. I mean, there's some stuff that I can play, like, usually more in, like, say, the puzzle genre. Although I have been playing a little bit of Diablo 4. Mostly because I'm supposed to play with my kids, but we haven't done so yet. So ridiculous. But yeah, I haven't done as much video gaming in years. Heck, I think it's been like 4 to 6 months since I played the BattleTech computer game on stream, which I do need to get back to. That was fun. I enjoyed that. That, and I still haven't finished the campaign. All right, the rest of that's going to end up with more color, so I'm just going to leave that. Clearly, we are riveting today.
Is it we're talking about?
Thank you, Peanut Gallery. All right. So I've got. Oh, I missed some. Of course, I missed some. All right, I think that's all the mesh. Now, we'll put our base layer on. So now, I want to do a dry brush layer. It's going to be a little bit more difficult. Oh, why am I getting out that brush? But I want to go through and dry brush it with just some plain silver, because you've got all these little hex pieces. And when I was looking at the art for the guy, it's all got a bit of a highlight to it. So I'm going to put a little bit of silver on it so that we get that effect. The main issue my brain is kind of struggling with in regards to this is making sure looking at steps that normally I would put much farther down the process, doing it so much sooner. Like dry brushing, I wouldn't normally do this early, but I kind of need to. Dang it. Of course, I missed something else. Sorry, folks, I have to take the good mat off the table because that's what I use to record videos on. Okay. So I have a nice big dry brush. Originally, I was just going to use one of my old brushes. And then my brain kicked in that I actually had stuff for this. You'll notice it's not changing. Well, shouldn't be changing a whole lot. I think I've got a little extra paint on there. That's okay. We're going to wash it in the long run. But essentially just coming in and picking up these high points. So I've got a couple issues because I've got the big fat dry brush. It doesn't necessarily fit where I need it to dry. Actually, I should zoom back out so y'all can see where I'm working. I know, it's riveting entertainment, folks. Maybe you can see the feet right here. Oh, Sonny, what have you done to me? This thing is ridiculous.
Did you break it?
No, I didn't break it. It's just horribly awkward. Like me. Whew. All right. So that's most of the metal. We'll come back and we'll get some extra stuff done eventually. Let me see here. Where did I put that? Hey, clean up my hard drive.
That was the thing you need to clean.
It goes very slow to load this screen because of
It's
how
very
many.
hard to walk in the garage.
It is very hard to walk in the garage.
You are like a cancer.
I'm cancer.
You're a cancer.
I'm a cancer.
Your computer, to the garage, to my house.
See what I get, folks?
And now, how about not a cancer? How about just plaque?
Plaque. I'm not sure that's any better. Why is it so hot in here?
I don't know. It's a thermostat set that. Oh, you're under the bright lights, pal. You're being so famous.
Why does it feel so hot at 75? It was weird. Yeah, Arizona complaint, folks.
It's not that hot of a day outside. It's hot, but it's not that hot.
All right. So I'm going to go a little different on the flesh, because that's what I'm going to do next. Mostly because it's, again, that working low points to high points. It's there, and I'm a little nervous about doing the armor for some reason, so we're going to hold off on that. So I'm going to use some of this stone gray, which I'm now realizing I'm going to have to order more of because I got another project coming up. What the hell, Roger? I do. Come on. That's not good enough either. There we go. Now we're getting paint to move. Sitting here wondering if there's a co-op version for Mass Effect. Maybe go through it with my 22-year-old. That's a crazy thing about painting miniatures. So it's like, okay, so all I've done is done the metal, did a dry brush, put some of this stone gray. And just doing that, it's starting to come together. having to go slow so that I don't end up painting all the metallic. Oh no, Kevin has an important question. What is your important question? Is it why I did not invite you to the game of Battletech last night? I thought I told you about it. If not, I apologize. Are they going to release the aircraft carrier Gigo? I think your dyslexia is hitting, Kevin. I'm not sure what a Gigo is. Oh, gee, are they going to remake the aircraft carrier? In my not expert opinion, absolutely not. They
Visitors have arrived from another place.
It's about to get noisy in here, folks.
The door unlocked.
I haven't locked it after Tanner left.
So the G.I. Joe aircraft carrier was sort of a... Hey, Grim! Good morning. Since I'm assuming it's morning for you. Hello, Sydney.
Hi.
What are we looking at?
I'm just looking at
Okay,
what
no.
you're doing.
I'm painting Wrex from Mass Effect.
Oh, you're painting the big dude.
Yes, I'm painting the big dude. The missus is doing well. Overall, we're doing well, as you can tell from the kitchen noises. No, there's no live stream going on. Yeah, no, overall things are going well. Had fun talking to Seraphis this morning, so that was fun. I've been enjoying those Sunday morning chats. Today was a little easier because technically I was already up for it, but then I took a nap. So I was late. But yeah, everything's going well. And Grim, I promise I will get back to playing Battletech. Dear Lord Jaden, can you make any more noise? It's not even her, Grim. It's my son who's invaded the house and is raiding the fridge.
As I should. What?
Your mother's in the live
You can get over it.
Tell ya, I get no respect. Anyhow, to finish answering Kevin's question, so apparently back in the 80s when they would do stuff like the G.I. Joe aircraft carrier or the space shuttle or whatever, that was essentially a marketing tactic. It's not that they expected to sell all of them. They knew that they'd sell some, but the intention wasn't to sell a ton of them like they would the regular action figures. And but the catch is that they could get it into stores like Toys R Us and Walmart and such, and it's this giant box that every kid's just looking at it like, oh my gosh, it's amazing, even though they know they'll never get it. But it just puts G.I. Joe into their head, and they're thinking, okay, that thing is super cool. So, and the way that toy manufacturing is, the way that kids play these days, I don't think we'll see anything along those lines ever again. Like even with He-Man, like the Origins line that they've had for the last few years, they did Castle Grayskull, and then they did, which did okay. I never saw it in store, but that's because I got into Origins late, which is funny because I never cared about He-Man as a kid. But even that was a good sized box, but it wasn't anything on the scale of like the aircraft carrier. But also they were really, really short lived. Like I finally found a Snake Mountain, and like you go to Target at least every couple of weeks or so. Never even saw it there. And it's like, okay, it's been a while, or oh, hey, this thing's on, like, for some reason I found out that it was on sale. So I went and it's like, oh, this one store over here has a copy. And it's like, I had no clue. So I don't know if it was the collector speculator market that just snapped them all up when they came in or what, but yeah, so I don't think you would ever see anything along the lines of a G.I. Joe aircraft carrier again. Especially now with like HasLab, all that stuff. Like they did the Jabba's sail barge for Star Wars a few years ago. But they just did it through HasLab and marketed it directly to the fans.
Feel lighter than my.
Anyhow.
They're expensive.
I'm finding other pieces or spots that I missed.
So my plan is
all right. Anyhow, so, but I mean, it's kind of that way with all of this stuff. Like, I mean, you look at like even within wargaming. Like 40K, they've got Land Raiders. Well, you can't even buy Land Raiders in the store anymore. At least not easily. It's essentially shifted over to online only, whereas back in my day, that was sort of like a staple vehicle. So, are there too many of them have too many been produced, so there's too many out there in the wild, or is it just not cost effective and so nobody wants to get it? So to see what red I use. Okay, so that's where I am nervous and struggling a little bit on this, because it's going to need some extra dry brush, it's going to need some washes, just to have it look quote unquote more correct. But I do have a couple ideas, so give me a second and I will show you. So as I've said, I'm trying to stick to the Monument Hobbies paints. So first off, I was just going to go with this guy. I mean, nice, easy, plain red, right? No, of course not. That's like the third dry brush. Maybe it gets a hint of that. So we've got burnt red. Definitely going to start with this. Because also keep in mind, it's all going to get a wash, which darkens the tone on everything. So even if I had used this, just a plain bright red, the wash is going to tone it down like 1 or 2 levels. Now, I also have some of this red oxide, which I think would be a good intermediate layer. So, here, So here we've got the burnt red, the red oxide, and then the bold Pyrrole red. Okay, so base, then like a dry brush layer, and then like a second dry brush layer. Is kind of what I'm thinking off the top of my head. I almost want... Oh, I could start with like his toes. If I started with his toes... Let me bring this into camera. All right, so here's our whole model. So we've got his toes. I could test doing the red with his toes, because number one, you've got all this extra stuff around here, so it's a bit more contained. It's small enough that if it looks a little different, you know, it wouldn't be too big a problem, because it's the toes. You know, everybody's, you know, your focus goes here, the head and the torso. Anyway, so I can semi-test how I'm going to paint it. Yeah, without risking a whole lot. The other catch is I also want to do like some super fine highlights later on. Well, not really highlights, but like I need to try weathering with this. This guy is not going to have like factory fresh body armor, you know, which is how I normally paint stuff. So that's more along the lines of where I'm sort of struggling on where to go. Does that make sense? So anyhow, all right. So for now, it's been about an hour. That's what I'm shooting for. I got the kids at home, or the kids here now. So I got a decent amount done despite my interruptions and whatnot. So, he's an 800-year-old Krogan battlemaster who's been a merc for over a century. Yeah, exactly. He does not have factory fresh body. So, at this point, I'm gonna go ahead and end the stream for this Sunday, but we're making some progress. And next week, we will come back and we'll see what we can do with some of the reds, because essentially that's going to be the rest of it, is red. Red. So, with that said, everybody, thank you so much for hanging out with me, keeping me company, letting me just ramble and talk. This is going to go until it's done. I literally can't tell you how many sessions it will take because I don't know. But my hope is that we'll be able to have this finished before Christmas, because it's been long enough and Suddy deserves his statue. So with that said, Monday I've got a video scheduled. I should be back tomorrow just to do our regular painting stream. But then we're gonna have stuff coming up and it's gonna be exciting, and we'll go from there. So make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit the like button on the way out. But everybody, have a wonderful rest of your day, and we'll talk to you next time. Bye. As I get to sit here awkwardly because I didn't